Hi and welcome back to our page. So, you've gone out to do an initial assessment for a new client. The client already has equipment in their home and they need hoisting. And now you're wondering who's responsible for moving and handling plans. Do I write on my own? Do I wait for the OT to give me one? And this is one of the biggest areas of confusion in domiciliary care. We see providers getting it wrong all the time. And getting it wrong doesn't just mean a telling off, it means your staff could be using equipment incorrectly, it means someone could get seriously hurt, and it means CQC will have serious questions about your governance. So, let's break this down properly today, because once you understand this, you'll never second guess it again. Right, so first things first, let's talk about what the law actually says, because that's what actually matters. Under the Manual Handling Operations Regulations 1992, which was amended in 2002, the employer has legal duty to carry out manual handling assessments for any manual handling activities that their staff perform. So that's you, the registered provider, not the OT. Not the local authority, you. Then you've got the Provision and Use of Work Equipment Regulations of 98, also known as PUWER. This regulation says the employer must ensure that any equipment being used by their staff is suitable, maintained, and that staff are trained and competent to use it. Again, that's your responsibility as the provider. Then there's CQC. Under Regulation 12 of the Health and Social Care Act 2008, which covers safe care and treatment, CQC expects you to assess the risk to the health and safety of people during any care or treatment. That includes moving and handling. And under Regulation 15, Premises and Equipment, CQC also expects that equipment is accessible, safe, and that staff using it are trained or supervised. So from every angle, the legal responsibility sits with you, the provider. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, the OT provided the equipment. The OT should tell you how to use it. And I understand why people think that, because the OT is a specialist, right? And yes, the OT does play an important role. They assess the person, they identify what equipment is needed, and they prescribe the hoist, the sling, whatever it may be. And they should provide guidance on the type of sling and the general approach. If the equipment is being newly installed, the OT or the equipment supplier should demonstrate how it works. But here's the key distinction. The OT assesses the person and prescribes the equipment. You, as the care provider, assess how your staff will safely deliver the care while using that equipment and in that environment with a specific person. Those are two different things. The OT does not know how your staff, their competency levels, or their experience. The OT is not managing your rota, your supervision, or your training. That's your domain. So the moving and handling plan that sits in your care plan, the risk assessments that your staff follow on every single visit, that has to come from you. Now, that doesn't mean you should never contact the OT. There are absolutely times when you need to pick up that phone and make a referral. If you go into a property and the equipment looks worn, damaged, or it hasn't been serviced, don't use it. Contact the OT and raise it immediately. If you're unsure about which sling to use, the size, the type, or the color coding, and the information is not available, that's a valid reason to contact the OT for clarification. If the person's needs change, maybe they've lost weight, their mobility has declined, or they've developed a pressure sore, you need to flag that to the OT because the equipment prescription may need to change. And if you believe the current equipment isn't suitable or the environment is not safe for hoisting, you absolutely need to escalate that. But the day-to-day moving and handling plan, the risk assessment for your staff, the care plan that details exactly how the transfer should be done, what position, how many carers, what sling, what checks to do before and after, that's yours to write, yours to review, and yours to keep updated. So let me walk you through what a good moving and handling plan actually looks like, because this is where a lot of providers fall short. Firstly, you need a person-centered moving and handling assessment. This is not a generic template that you just tick boxes on. It should describe the individual, their specific mobility needs, and what they can do for themselves and where they need support. It should know any pain, any conditions that affect movement, any preferences they have about how they want to be moved. And second, you need a clear risk assessment. What are their hazards? Is there enough space in the room for the hoist? Is the flooring safe? And are there trip hazards? What happens if the person becomes distressed during the transfer? And what is the plan if the equipment malfunctions mid-transfer? These are the things that the inspectors want to see. Thirdly, the actual method. Step by step, how should the transfer be carried out? What sling, the size, how many carers, what position should the person be in before, during and after, and where should the sling straps attach? This needs to be detailed enough that any competent carer could pick it up and follow it safely. And fourth, staff competency. Have the staff assigned to this client been trained in manual handling? Have they been assessed as competent to use this specific type of hoist and sling? And when was their last refresher? This should all be documented. And finally, review dates. Moving and handling plans shouldn't just sit there gathering dust. They should be reviewed regularly and immediately whenever there is a change in the person's condition, a near miss, or even an accident. Now, let me tell you what CQC actually looks for when they assess this area, because this is what catches a lot of providers out. Under the single assessment framework, safe care falls under the safe key question. Inspectors will look at your quality statements around safety, risk management, and safeguarding. They want to see that risks are identified, assessed, and managed. They want to see that your staff know exactly what they're doing and can demonstrate competence. They want to see that you have systems in place to monitor and review. If an inspector walks into a client's home and asks a carer, "How do you use this hoist?" and that carer cannot explain the process, cannot identify the correct sling, or they say, "Oh, the OT told us what to do," that's a red flag. That tells the inspector that there's no robust moving and handling plan in place and your governance isn't where it needs to be. Breach of Regulation 12 for unsafe care and treatment can be prosecuted by CQC without a warning notice if it results in avoidable harm or significant risk of harm. That's not something to take lightly. So, to sum this up, if the equipment is already in the home and you write your own moving and handling plan, your own risk assessments, and it goes into your care plan, the OT prescribes the equipment. You plan how your staff deliver the care safely using it. 2 different roles and 2 different responsibilities, and you need to own yours. If you're not confident writing moving and handling plans, if you're unsure about your risk assessments, or if you want someone to review your care planning documentation to make sure it's CQC ready, that's exactly what we do here at CareSync Experts. We've helped hundreds of providers get this right, and we can help you too. Drop us a message or give us a call or check the link in the description. And if you found this helpful, share it with another provider who needs to hear this. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.